Hello dear students, I am Deepthi. As always, I have come to you with another exciting topic. Today, we shall discuss and discover a new world. The world that is felt but not visible to our eyes. The world of microbes. Microbial world. Do you know there are creatures not even visible to our eyes? But before we start, let me ask you a question. Have you ever counted the number of stars in the sky? Can anyone do that? Are you sure you have seen all the stars in the universe? No, it is not a possible thing to do. They are innumerable. There are so many that we can neither count nor see. However, we can view them with the help of some instruments. Likewise, there are many organisms which cannot be seen with the naked eye. We need some instruments to see them. What do we call them? The organisms which are not visible to the naked eye are known as microorganisms and can be seen only with the help of a microscope. Some microorganisms are so small that they can only be seen with a powerful microscope known as electron microscope. Who is the person who discovered the existence of microorganisms? In the year 1674, Antony van Leeuwenhoek discovered the existence of microorganisms. The study of microorganisms is known as microbiology. Microorganisms may belong to plant or animal kingdom. The microorganisms without a nucleus are known as prokaryotes. Some microorganisms have definite nucleus, cytoplasm and other structures of the cell, that is, cell organelles. The organisms with definite nucleus are termed as eukaryotes. Based on the nutritional aspects, these microorganisms can be divided into three types. The type of microorganisms which have chlorophyll in their cytoplasm and are able to prepare their own food using water and carbon dioxide in the presence of sunlight are known as autotrophs. Best examples for this type of organisms are autotrophic bacteria, algae, etc. Some microorganisms cannot prepare their own food and depend on other organisms and harm the organisms they live in. These are known as parasites. For example, most of the pathogens come under this category. The organisms which cannot prepare their own food but procure the food from external sources are known as heterotrophs. Some bacteria, protozoans, fungi, etc. come under this category. The above types are not limited to microorganisms. They are attributed to all living organisms. How do we classify the microorganisms? Based on the complexity of their structure, they are majorly divided into 5 groups. They are viruses, bacteria, algae, fungi, and protozoans. Let us examine each group. First of all, we will study viruses. The study of viruses is known as virology. Viruses are the smallest possible microorganisms which are very simple in their structure and are visible only with the help of electron microscope. The structure of a virus is very simple. It has an outer coat made up of proteins, and inside this coat there is genetic material. Viruses are parasites. Viruses cannot prepare their own food. They live in living cells of plants or animals or bacteria. It is important to note that virus is active only in a host cell. The cell in which viruses or any other microorganism as well lives is called a host. The viruses or microorganisms themselves which live inside these host cells are known as parasites. The virus outside the host cell appears just like crystals and cannot perform any living activity, including reproduction. How does virus infect a cell? Let us view a virus which is about to enter a bacteria. When virus comes in contact with a bacterial cell, it makes a hole in the host cell membrane and inserts its genetic material into the host cell. The genetic material of the virus takes over the genetic material of the host cell and multiplies in the host cell. It produces a large number of tiny viruses. These viruses break open the host cell and are released outside. They now enter new cells. Thus, the virus spreads, spreading the infection as well. Viruses can cause many diseases in man like measles, chickenpox, mumps, polio, influenza, common cold, AIDS, etc. There are no drugs to cure viral diseases, but these can be prevented with the help of preventive measures such as vaccination. We still neither discovered the cure nor vaccine for AIDS. Viral diseases show symptoms for 7 to 10 days. Generally, the disease subsides after 10 days. However, AIDS virus does not die and continues to stay in the host till death. Medicines used for a viral disease are generally to prevent the onset of other diseases only. Let us now examine bacteria. The second type of microorganisms are bacteria. Bacteria were first discovered by Leeuwenhoek. The cells of bacteria are simple in structure and do not contain nucleus. Hence, as we already know, these can be referred as prokaryotes. How does locomotion take place in bacteria? Each bacterium has a tough outer coat and a cell membrane. Beneath the outer coat, bacteria have a fine thread-like structure called flagellum. The flagella help in swimming. There may be one or both the ends or a large number all over the body. See the different shaped bacteria in this image. What is the shape of bacterial cell? We can see bacteria in many shapes. Some are round, some are rod shaped, and some are spiral or corkscrew shaped. What is the mode of living or habitat of bacteria? Bacteria are present everywhere, in air, soil, water, in plants, in animals, and in man as well. It is amazing to know that the bacteria can withstand extremely low and extremely high temperatures. They can even live in deep seas. Some bacteria are found in hot water lakes and springs also, where the temperature of water is about 80 degrees centigrade. They may live single or in groups. When bacteria live in groups, the groups are called colonies. What are the methods adopted by bacteria to live long? If the conditions are not favorable, bacteria transform into spores. Spores are conical with a thick shell-like structure. Spores are thus not killed by heat, cold, chemicals, etc. In this condition, bacteria thus live for a very long time. Majority of bacteria live on the food material present in their surroundings, like dead and decaying plants and animals, or live parasitically in the body fluids and cells of other animals and plants. Unhygienic conditions, dirty habits invite bacterial infections. Are all bacteria harmful? We must know that there are both harmful and useful bacteria. Dear students, in this episode, we have examined the structure, types and habitat of two microorganisms, that is, virus and bacteria. In the next episode, we shall study the other microorganisms, that is, algae, fungi and protozoans. We have examined the viruses and bacteria in the last episode. Let us examine the other microorganisms in this episode. The third type of microorganisms is algae. Algae are of three types. They are blue-green algae, green algae and brown algae. The blue-green algae are similar to bacteria. They do not have a definite nucleus, hence they are prokaryotic in nature. Green algae and brown algae are similar to plant cells with a definite nucleus, cell wall, chloroplasts and other cell components. All the members of algae have chlorophyll and can synthesize their own food in the presence of sunlight utilizing water and carbon dioxide. Hence, these are eukaryotes. Where do the algae live? There are some microscopic algae in the oceans known as diatoms. They float on seawater and perform photosynthesis. They are a good food to the sea animals. Green algae exist either as single individuals or in groups. The green algae, like Chlamydomonas, live in water and swim with the help of one or two flagella. Fungi. The fourth group of microorganisms we are discussing is fungi. Fungi belong to the plant kingdom. Where do we find fungi? Usually, fungi grow on moist soils, decaying dead organic matter, food materials like bread, pickles, rotting fruit and vegetables. Some of them live as parasites, causing diseases. What is the structure of fungi? All fungi look like a group of fine threads known as hyphae. Each thread has several partitions which appear like cells, but each partition contains many nuclei. Yeasts are free-living single cells. Mushrooms are big enough and visible to the naked eye. Molds are also fungi and grow on clothes, paper, wood, and other important organic material. Fungi also cause extensive damage to stored food material such as grains, pickles, bread, etc. Fungi can attack plants and animals also. How do they procure food? Fungi absorb the required food from their surroundings. As they do not have chlorophyll, they cannot synthesize their own food. Fungi depend on decaying animal or plant cells. They digest the food with the help of enzymes. This type of food habit is known as saprophytic. Are the fungi useful or harmful? Surprisingly, some fungi are very much helpful to the mankind. Fungi act upon decaying at dead plant and animal remains, help decompose the bodies and return the nutrients back to the Mother Earth. Yeast is very important in the manufacture of alcohol and alcoholic beverages. Fungus like penicillium is important in the production of antibiotics like penicillin. The fifth group of microorganisms is the unicellular protozoans. All protozoans are eukaryotes. Protozoans are unicellular organisms. They may be classified into 4 groups depending on locomotory organelles. Some protozoans, such as amoeba, moves with the help of pseudopodia. Pseudo means false, podia means feet. The second type of protozoan, for example paramecium, moves with the help of cilia and euglena moves with the help of flagellum. The third group are sedentary in habit, attached to a place in the water, such as verticella. There are some protozoans which do not have any locomotory organelles and depend on the moving fluids of the host. For example, Plasmodium or malarial parasite. Where do the protozoans live? Protozoans live in water or in soil. Few protozoans are parasites on animals. How do they procure food? Some protozoans are autotrophic. Some are heterotrophs, while some are parasites. Euglena can be considered as an autotroph as it has chlorophyll in the cell. The protozoans which do not have chlorophyll cannot prepare their own food. Almost all the protozoans depend upon decaying dead organic matter of animals and plants. For example, amoeba, paramecium. Some protozoans lead parasite lives. For example, malarial parasite, Plasmodium, causes a severe disease known as malaria. Entamoeba histolytica is a parasite in human beings and causes amoebic dysentery. How do protozoans reproduce? Reproduction in protozoans is usually by asexual method, that is, simple binary fission. Some reproduce sexually also. If the conditions are not favorable, the protozoans protect themselves in the form of cysts or spores. Dear students, we have examined in the last 2 topics the types, structure, nature and habitat of microorganisms. Try to find out which organism causes which disease from a good encyclopedia if it really excites you.